ourselves that often we don't pay attention to. And then over the past couple of weeks, we've really been looking at the difference between like a neglected soul versus a healthy soul, of where we kind of talked about these different themes where like when your soul is neglected, we are disconnected, it's empty, it's drained, versus when our soul is healthy and we're paying attention to it, it has vitality to it, it has this health, it's living, and we pay attention to it, we invest in it, we take care of it, then it's aligned with God's purpose. There's this abundance, there's this overflow that we experience with God. And now, kind of as this bridge between what we've been talking about and paying attention to our soul and what we're going to talk about next month and like some of the actual practices and steps that we could take and take care of our soul, we kind of have this question, and it kind of leads us in this bridge, in this place where seeking health for our souls requires seeking change. That's really kind of the attitude that I want us to leave with as we think about what it means to take care of our souls versus neglecting our souls, that we need to seek change. Pastor Doug has this quote throughout his soul-shaping book in his series that really has, that he comes back to a lot, that I think is really great, that Jesus didn't die so that we could stay the same. Like, Jesus didn't die, he didn't go through the death on the cross, he didn't rise from the dead so that we could just have this baseline like attitude and be like, whatever, happens. Like, he didn't die so that we could stay the same. Like, we should constantly be seeking change, we should be seeking growth. We should be seeking abundance and overflow. He doesn't want us to just be the same every day. He wants us to grow and experience this growth and this health and this overflow that he died for. But then leads us to this question that I really want us to kind of really take to heart and answer within ourselves. Like, the question is, how do we start and maintain change? What does that really look like? What does that mean? Like, where is the starting place for seeking change in our life? And we'll talk about that a little bit more. And before we jump, how many of you would consider yourself like an organized person? Anybody? How organized? What are some of the organizational tips or like things that you do? Josh, what's yours?
I like to use Outlook calendar to schedule my day out.
Okay, so you write out your day, you kind of know like what you're going to go through,
Yep.
where you're supposed to be, appointments and all the things with that. Cassandra?
Like, you just like organize and clean every single day so it won't get messy.
Oh, okay. Every day? Like clean room every day? I'm just like, okay. Cheyenne's like, Evan, what?
I make
Okay.
a list of what the stuff I have to do.
You make a list of things that you have to do. Yes, list. How many of you are list people? Like to do, Finley's like, what was yours?
It's not that I'm organized myself, but when my friends or like people around me are really organized, it really just bugs my soul.
So it's not that you're, so wait, what I'm hearing is like, I'm not an organized person, but it's when everybody else is not organized. That's, okay.
At my school,
See ya.
we have this box for keyboards, and everyone just like throws them in, and I have to line them up for them, and like in the way we're supposed to do it, or else it's not good.
Yeah.
Then you see this.
Ava's like ready to fight. Okay, but go back. How many of you are list people again? Sorry, I got lists. Like, yeah, there's a part of me that I would love to be a list person. Like, if I have a to-do list, I do get more done throughout the day. Whereas, like, if I don't have a to-do list, I get distracted easily. But I really, especially encounter this, especially now that we have kids and Asher's here, so he gets here and we talk about them. Going shopping is the worst if I don't have a list. You may experience this, or your parents probably know this, like going shopping with you. But there's always this phrase like, don't go shopping hungry. Like, don't go to the store when you're hungry, because whenever you are shopping, you might like, and you don't have a list, you're like, oh, all the food looks good, I just want everything, and you just kind of throw things into your cart. But like, if you have a list, and especially when I have lists, I know, and shopping also stresses me out. Like grocery shopping, I'm like, okay, I know I need bananas, lunch meat, and like whatever. I'm gonna go in and get out, because like Trader Joe's is stressful because it's so small, right? Anybody? No, just me. Okay. The Trader Joe's by our house is so small, and most Trader Joe's besides the one that's on Irvine are super small and it's stressful. But especially when you go in with Asher, and Asher, you're great, I love you. But Asher just gets distracted by things that he just finds appealing, like, oh, Daddy, we really need to have this box of cereal that has a bee on it. I'm like, Asher, you don't even eat cereal. I want cereal. And you're like, okay, you get cereal. Or like, Daddy, I really want this, like, Asher, we don't need squid meat. But it has an octopus on the picture. No, Asher, that's a squid. And he's like, but I want it. And then he sits there and like has those big like little kid eyes like, Daddy, please, can we have the can with the squid on the thing? And I'm like, fine, I guess we're buying squid meat today. I don't know when we're gonna eat squid meat, but we're buying. And he just like sits there with the box and it's so cute. And then like with toys especially, and I talked about it before, I'll gladly like buy him a toy when he just gives me those like big like I love you eyes. But especially when you're shopping for foods, like, Daddy, we want this mango. We don't eat mango. Ash, what are you wanting mango? And so we end up walking out of the store, or spices. Sorry, that's the one, we have a whole spice rack with like 10 of the same spices, because anytime we go to the store, I don't know why, he's obsessed with buying spices. He's like, we gotta go to the spice rack. I want this one because it's yellow. I'm like, Ash, we don't even eat. Like, oh, and now he's upset. But if you see our spice rack, it's all the same kind because we always have to buy the same one. But that usually happens, like you don't go in with a list or a plan or an idea of what you want or what you were going after. Like anything could happen. Like it could just leaves room for for what you don't expect to happen. And kind of the same way of what we're talking about when we talk about making a change and wanting to grow in our faith and wanting to grow in how we take care of our souls. Like really what we're going to talk about comes from having to have a plan. And having a plan is important because if we don't have a plan, and we'll come back to this in a second, then it leads us to fall into a trap of attitudes and attempts to change that will fail. And there are these like kind of quotes that relate to these different attitudes that could have. But like read these, like you probably have said something like this similar before, something similar to that, especially the ones that it's like, I can change whenever I want. Like I don't, like I can start reading my Bible whenever I want to. I have that willpower. I can change this bad habit. I can change this attitude. I can change whenever I want to. Or even the like, I will get more connected. I'll start investing in my faith when the time is right. Or if I'm gonna start believing in Jesus, it's gonna happen when it's gonna happen. I'm just gonna wait for the time. Until then, I'm gonna do what I want to do. And we often have these attitudes of like growth and faith and change, and just like, yeah, you know what? Whenever I change, it's gonna happen in one way. Or we see this a lot with like going to winter camp or wherever. People have this great experience at winter camp, and they are so excited about winter camp, and yeah, Jesus this, and great attitudes of worship, and I'm so hyped up on Jesus, and like this is just gonna get me through, and I'm gonna change my life right now and do nothing else to like invest in it. And like, yeah, I'm so inspired, but I don't want to have any habits or like make any plans or have any changes that I want to make. It's just my excitement's gonna change everything. And we often just fail. We often fail because we don't have a vision. We don't have that list. We don't have a plan to go into our faith of like, how do we want to take care of our soul? Because we just expect things to happen, or we have these wrong attitudes about it. And if you've ever like thought any of these thoughts or said any of these things, like then that is reflective of how like our growth doesn't happen. But that leads us to what is an effective strategy for change. And really the most effective strategy for change that will lead us into these next few weeks is having vision. And I don't mean like being able to see. Like, yeah, I can see myself reading the Bible. It's not like having vision, like, yeah, I have 20/20 eyesight, I have glasses, so that means I can change. Or even having a vision like being able to like predict the future and having like you fell asleep and you woke up and you had like a vision of the future. But vision is another way to say like a plan, having a vision plan. Most churches, businesses, our church has one. Most businesses have like a vision plan saying like, this is our goal. By the end of, in like 5 years, this is what we hope to achieve. And here are the steps that we're gonna achieve this vision. I know our church has one, like you may have heard it a couple years ago, like we want to be able to multiply by, like, what was it? No, like I should know the vision.
Double our people and triple our income.
Yeah, double our people, triple our influence by 2027, I think. And like that was our vision. We have this like whole vision frame that reaches those steps. And so for us, even having a vision for our soul, having a vision for the care and the health of our soul means like knowing what you want for your life, knowing what obstacles you will face or that you are facing right now, making a plan that helps you overcome those obstacles, or more importantly, being able to consistently name and claim like your growth and your change. And a lot of this comes from 1 John chapter 5, verses 14 through 15. 1 John chapter 5, verses 14 through 15. Where it tells us that this is the confidence that we have in approaching God, that if we ask anything according to his will, he hears us. And if we know that he hears us, whatever we ask for, we know that we have what we have asked for him. Now, a lot of people often take this verse and think of it as like God is this genie, that like whatever you ask for God, he'll give it to you. Like, God, I want a new car, and bam, he'll give us a new car. I know there's lots of times growing up where I'm like, God, I want lots of money, and like I sit there and I pray this really hard with my eyes closed, like, God, make me rich, make me rich, make me rich. And I open my eyes expecting like a pile of money in front of me, like God's like a pile of money, like leaves or whatever. But that's not exactly what it means. What it means is where you see these areas of your life and these parts of your soul and the parts of you like that you want to change and that you want to grow in, the parts where you want to experience him, the parts where you want to be aligned with his purpose, the parts of you that is not experiencing abundance, the parts of you that you know are being neglected, the parts of you that you know need to change. Name those and claim it, knowing that God is going to enter into your life and walk alongside you and help you claim those areas of your life. Name the change that you want and claim it, knowing that God has the power, has the authority, has a relationship with you to make those changes with you. So if there's a part of your life that you want different, if there's a part of your life that is not experiencing abundance, if there's a part of your life that you know is being neglected, a part of your life that is just being drained, name that. Identify it. Say, like, yes, God, you know what? I know that I could have better friends who take care of me, who have the same journey of faith as I do, who care about you in the same ways that I do. I need better friendships that help me with that. Name that and claim it, knowing that God will help you find those relationships that will help you grow closer to God. If there is like a spiritual habit that you know that you need to invest in, like reading the Bible, like, God, I know that I need to be reading my Bible more. Name that and claim it, knowing that God will help you and give you that peace and that strength and that patience and that plan and that community to help you read your Bible. Or if there's a habit that you want to stop, God, help me with this habit. Name it, claim it, and know that God can help you. Whatever you ask for God, whatever you ask of God, if you come to God saying, God, this is what I know that I need, he will come alongside you and help you grow in those areas of your life. And we'll talk about more of like some of the specifics of what we could be doing. But for you, what I would encourage you throughout this week is that you make a vision plan. Make a list, make a plan for the health of your soul that starts with naming and claiming the change that you want to see in your life. Don't just try to do it on your own. Don't just try to guess at what you need to be doing. Don't just try to like wait for change to happen. Make a vision plan and say, God, this is what I know needs to happen, and I give this to you. I claim it, knowing that you will give me the power, knowing that you will give me the strength, knowing that you will help me grow closer to you, because that is what you want. Make that plan, make that change, and have that vision of what you want your life to be like, and know that God is the one who can give it. Let's pray.